and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Evening, everybody.
Evening.
Could I have a motion to open the town board meeting March 13th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'm not sure if everybody saw the website today, but around 4 o'clock, we got a call from the Board of Elections that there's an issue with all three of the first three public hearings. They need to be postponed, so we're gonna be postponing them to April 10th until we get a definitive answer on, apparently, I don't know exactly what happened, but apparently something happened with the Board of Elections. The state attorney general came down and mandated that they approve everything that goes on in Orange County election-wise. So we're waiting to get a definitive answer. It came to us at 4 o'clock today, but we were told that we couldn't carry on with the public hearings or adjourn them or do anything. So we're gonna hold it over until April 10th, if we have them at all. That's item number 1, 2, 3, and 4. At 12 o'clock today, I was notified that on item number 4, I was notified that the governor passed a law creating a registry for all short-term rentals. I brought that up to both attorneys today. I believe they spoke with the planning board attorney also. And we need to get more definitive answers as to what the state is going to regulate and require. So we are also going to hold that over until April 10th. So I apologize if anybody didn't get it. It was very late in the afternoon. We did put it up on the website. Apologies. So with that being said, first item on the agenda is review the draft FEAF Part 2 IWS, but that's going to be postponed also?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. So just very brief for the board and public's information, you have that Chapter 80B permit for IWS. You determined it was complete. It was then referred to the planning board and the ERB. The ERB's role in this is to assist you as seeker. Attorney Norton prepared a draft EAF. I believe the ERB is reviewing that. I believe they have not yet completed that review and intend to do so. I think they've scheduled a special meeting. When I spoke to Neil, he's here if you want to hear directly from him.
Directly from you.
We did get a copy of that on Monday, and we did try to review it, a little bit of it, on Wednesday when our meeting was. We were not able to complete that. What I was going to ask you at this point in time is we have, it's tentatively scheduled to have a second meeting this month so we can get it done rather quickly. We would like to have that meeting on Tuesday the 25th. But before I went ahead and scheduled the meeting, I just wanted your approval to have that meeting.
Don't have a problem, but we just need to verify the ZBA doesn't have anything.
I don't believe they meet on the 25th. I think it's good.
I think Grace was supposed to check on that thing and get back to me if it
Yeah, I
wasn't.
think there
And
was
so-
no problem with it.
Yeah.
Follow up with Grace tomorrow, and if she says there's nothing, then by all means, yeah, let's get it done.
Okay, good. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, thank you.
So,
All right.
just a question. Once you have the meeting and you determine what you have to do, we have this application, and there are a number of items throughout the application that yes was marked. And it's either no impact or some slight impact on certain sections. And I just need to know, when we review this, will anybody be here to answer those?
Yeah,
From
Attorney
IWS.
Norton prepared that. I don't know if she can make your meeting, your next meeting. If she can't, I can be here. I can speak to her beforehand and go through it.
Yeah, all I want to, I mean, I don't want them to answer every little single item in the section, just the section as a whole, so we understand what the yes was, rather than no impact whatsoever. So I just wanted to know if anybody was going to be here to do that, okay?
Understood.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just, for the sake of the board and actually the public or whatever, just this week we started videoing our meetings like you do here.
Yep.
So it is available. It should be available live, but it certainly is available after the fact also.
It was available live.
Okay, I don't know. I was here, so I didn't know.
Yeah, it was on.
So
It was
yeah, I think
definitely
so.
on live.
Okay.
You gotta watch it on your phone when you're doing that.
All right, next item on the agenda is authorize the proposal from Colliers for a Phase 1 environmental site assessment for Lakeville Inn property, future town hall and police department, although that's hasn't been established that we're doing that, but we did state that we were going to do a Phase 1 just to determine what the feasibility would be for us to potentially purchase it. So you got it in front of you, it's a set price of $4,200 to do the entire phase one.
4250.
$4,250, I apologize.
No? Was it less?
No,
No,
it's
it's.
4250.
4250.
On the schedule
It's
of
in there.
fees.
4250,
Lump
right?
sum, including expenses,
We don't need it.
page 11.
So you'll have time to speak it.
Sorry,
I
page
thought you were representing Collier.
So, I don't think it's, the fee is unreasonable for the amount of work that's being done. But I took another look at the property, and I'm familiar with the property, because at one particular point, an organization that I was with was renting that property. There were a lot of tanks, and we're counting on an appraisal that was done by Burke for Burke.
Correct.
And for some reason, this is going to be a huge purchase and possibly a huge liability. So I think what we should really do is, if we're gonna go forward with this, have our own appraisal done.
Yeah.
At one point, I was in the mortgage business, and that's what the banks usually do, is
Mhm.
call for an appraisal. So we really know what's under the ground, what's going on. There's a lot of wetlands and so on and so forth. And I'm just not comfortable relying on an appraisal that's a number of years old and was done by the seller. So, and I'm not saying, I'm not questioning the appraisers, but I just know how things go.
I agree.
And that's, okay, good. I feel a little
I think we get through the phase one, I'm not even sure we're gonna get through the phase one, so.
Oh, okay, but
Yeah.
I just, if it
But
does
I agree.
happen, okay, good. But the amount for the Collier, I think, is within reason,
Mhm.
for sure.
All right, any other,
Thank you.
George?
Is anybody here representing Collier?
No, Sean did it. Sean got the,
So you
Yeah.
you can answer the questions?
I can try. I understand that your February 13th meeting, there was some discussion about some subsurface conditions. Supervisor reached out to me, asked me to solicit proposals. I reached out to Kinley Horn. They declined. They don't normally provide this service in New York. Kyers is familiar with the area, and they submitted a proposal. I've read through it. I
Yeah.
can try to answer questions, but
Okay, so the first question I had was on page one, and I just don't, I'm not familiar with the CERCLA liability. It's at the bottom of the page there. It says, this on?
Yes.
It says, qualify for an innocent landowner, contiguous property owner, or a bona fide prospective purchase, limitations on CERCLA liability.
I can't answer that, George. You'd have to speak to the town's insurance broker to get a better understanding of what that means for you.
Or Collier may know what CERCLA.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Yeah, but I
you
think
can
it
answer that, but I mean,
ensures-
in terms of impact to you and why that's
Yeah.
important to you.
Right.
we should probably get this to our insurance agent.
Okay.
One other thing that I had here in small print. Well, one of the main things that's happening here is we're looking for hazardous materials, correct?
Yes.
And on page 9 of 11, I think it's, I guess basically it's not a problem, but they talk at length of, not being responsible if there was hazardous stuff on the property. But I think as I read it more carefully now, it says if the scope of services of this agreement does not include services related to hazardous materials, when in fact it does, right? Because it talks about that in the first 3 or 4 pages. Basically, that's what we're trying to find out.
Yeah, I think the small print, as you refer to it, is their boilerplate that they tack to every proposal.
Yeah.
And then the specific proposal conditions on the front, they speak about hazardous materials and identification of those. So I don't think that that provision is applicable to your proposal.
Right. That's all I had.
Rick?
No, I think it's pretty clear.
Melissa?
Yep, I'm good, thank you.
All right, so can I have a motion to approve the Collier design proposal?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Hold on, before,
Roll call.
seconded for discussion. do,
What?
hello, George. Are we going to look, when we hire Collier, will he go right and do this before we discuss having the appraisal, or?
Oh, yeah.
Do
No,
we
this has-
wait?
We have to finish this before we even.
We have to finish that
Yep.
before we even discuss?
Yep.
Okay, not a problem. Call the vote.
We need a roll call?
Might as well. Southern Councilmember Caterina,
Aye.
Councilmember Lyons,
Aye.
Councilmember Florio,
Aye.
Councilmember Gala. Supervisor Betcha.
Aye.
Okay.
Next item up is review and authorize the supervisor to sign Frontier notice of abandonment of the cable television service on the cable franchise agreement with the town of Goshen.
So seeing as there's only one customer that they're servicing,
Yeah.
they would like to terminate the contract. I'll make a motion that the supervisor sign the termination of the contract.
All, roll call?
You need a second?
She's seconded it.
Sorry, okay.
I don't think we need to, but we can.
Don't need it? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Review and approve the February 27th town board meeting minutes. Anybody have any questions on them?
I don't know. Make a motion to accept them?
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
I just want to get into, for the people that live in Heritage and Hamiltonian Park, the green sand system has been completed. Both water tests were approved by the Board of Health. As we were getting ready to turn it on, we had a semi-disaster that the tank had a crack in it. So, right now, the tank, we haven't turned it on. The tank is undergoing major repairs. We have a temporary tank up on the hill that's feeding the Hamiltonian and Heritage. We have 4 wells up and running. We don't seem to be losing any pressure. They'll be in the tank tomorrow to assess the damage, see how long it takes to fix. And hopefully, they think it's a day or 2, but they want to confirm it. And then we have to fill the tank up with water, outside water, not the Hamiltonian Park or Heritage water, and get it back online. So we've put off doing the green sand system or turning it on until this is finished. We anticipate, because we're going to have to go through a boil water notice and 2 more tests of the tank once we bring it back online. So we anticipate everything being finished hopefully by next Friday and the green sand system coming up, operational. They have begun the green sand system in Heritage Park. That work has commenced. So hopefully, God willing, with everything, by April 1st, everything will be up online with both systems.
Joe?
Yep.
We need a motion on this to declare it an emergency so we
Yep.
can get the repair done.
I just got the repair thing today, so yes, I need a motion to declare this an emergency.
So moved.
Second? Roll call?
Yeah. Councilmember Gallo? Aye. Councilmember Florio?
Aye.
Councilmember Lyons?
Aye.
Councilmember Caterina?
Aye.
Supervisor Betcha.
Aye. Okay. Okay, discuss and approve a motion to authorize the supervisor to pay accounts payable in the amount of $763,776.16.
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Discuss and approve a request from the budget officer for year-to-date budget transfers dated 2/28. They're attached. Do I have a motion or any questions on that?
I'll make the motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
And information purposes only, the budget office submitted an AP review for February 27th and March 13th. It's attached. All right, 6:15, the fastest privilege of the floor yet.
Wait,
Oh,
I just
sorry.
wanted to just do an update.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's ask you to do an update.
Yeah, so I just wanted to do a quick update for everyone. So I'm the liaison to the JRC, which is the Joint Parks and Rec Commission for Goshen. We just had our regular monthly meeting, which happens the second Tuesday of every month. So great group of people. It was wonderful to be back. I was very happy to join the group again. Just to let you know, so park rental applications, Little League and Goshen Soccer Club are joining again. They have an April 5th club start. Bruin Park, I know probably many people know that surveillance cameras were installed there. The Erie Street Park renovation, we did an update, we have an updated map. We're hoping to start early April. Everyone will be updated. Obviously, the park will be closed until the work is finished. In Craigville, the pickleball nets are going up this Saturday, which I'm sure everybody's very excited about. Summer camp registration opens the 1st. They're expecting another huge crowd. The camps are always such a big hit with Goshen. My kids went. My son's going to be a counselor this year. They're expecting 150 to 170 campers. They offer half day and full day. Application for counselors and CITs is, I think the deadline is March 18th. There was a slight increase to the camp fees, but they were very nominal for what you get. And I think that was it for now.
And Goshen residents have the preference on applying before it
Correct,
opens
they
it
get
up.
an early application, yes, correct. Goshen residents get early application, and they also pay less in fees than out of, but I would say probably it's about 90% of the children that go to our camps are from Goshen. So it's just a great program and lots of work, but it's great. And that is over at Craigville Park.
It's always really successful.
Oh, it's always successful, it's always wonderful, and they're a great group of people, so happy to be part of it again.
All right, thanks for the update.
Sure.
All right, privilege of the floor. Mr. Buckhead.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Buckheit, longtime Goshen resident. I have basically the same question to ask all 5 members of the town board, which I would appreciate if they just spoke individually and answered the question.
Mark, we're not going to do that.
Okay.
Just you ask the
Why
question.
do we need a new town hall and a new police department? Let's get to the base of it. You know, what's the basic root cause why we need to spend money on things like that? Please.
We're running out of space in this facility. We're paying almost $3,000 a month to Green Mountain to store. Every time we have to get documents out of there, it costs us money. The town is growing. The police department is completely out of space. And the DPW is out of space. And the space that the police department is occupying is the DPW space. Now, I understand the frustration and, you know, and all the different things that we're looking at purchasing property, but there are a lot of things that we are looking at. Myself and George and also Phil spoke about, you know, looking at doing it at Solution Park, which is, I think, the ideal spot for town hall, but we have to weather through the intermunicipal agreement with the village.
Okay, I come from a business background,
Yep.
and we live within our means.
Mm-hmm.
We don't borrow money and then not be able to repay it. We have plenty of space in this building. Our town is not growing very much. We need to reorganize a little bit. We need to make some renovations in this building. In terms of record storage, that is very, very minor. Record storage is done in an unheated, dark area someplace that we could add on some space at DPW, give you 3,000 square feet with good rack shelving for all the records we are ever going to need. We had a discussion here, as I recall, 6 months ago about lifting or trying to sneak out of the 2% property tax cap in this town. We're planning to do that because we can't handle what we have now. This is all going to cost a small fortune. You know, we had an election on November 5th. The point of the election was the American people voted. We want less government, not more government. We don't need more bureaucrats in their own offices to make regulations. Congress measures its productivity by how much legislation they pass, how many trees they kill. That's absolutely the wrong way to do it. This building is perfectly adequate. We do not need to hire more people. We do not need more regulations. We certainly do not need to bust the budget of the town of Goshen. Does anybody else smell this? Smell what? Rhino dung. You ever get rhino dung on your shoes? You gotta throw your shoes out.
I lost my
okay?
sense of smell many years ago.
Just, you know, there's no reason to approve.
Have you walked through this building?
Yes, I have.
And
I've been here, I've been in town my whole life. I watched this building being renovated. Okay? There's plenty of space in here.
Okay, please explain to me where the space is.
We will go on a tour. I mean, the square footage of this building per employee is high.
I'd like you to come in tomorrow. When the
Tomorrow I can.
building permit is, when the building department is in full operation and 3 people on the phone trying to get work done, they can't even hear themselves.
The
think.
building
Is there-
department's got everything spread out on tables, and there are no cubbies installed there to deaden the sound. That's what you do in the corporate world, okay? The amount of square footage per employee here is plenty adequate. We don't have any money. You guys want to squirrel out of the 2% property tax cap. We can't handle the expenses we have now. And you want to buy a really polluted site. You're already authorizing money on something that the town people don't want.
Only you come out and said you don't want it.
Oh, just wait.
I don't want it.
Just wait.
I can tell you right now, I don't want it, and there's a way to build onto this building in the back parking lot
Okay.
to
Lou,
accommodate.
you'll
more
get
storage.
your chance when he's
No,
done.
I
You're saying
share the
only
floor
him,
with
so
Mr. Adamus.
Just
It's
open
2.
it up, all right?
2.
So, well, you'll probably get a lot
Who
more.
else thinks that we should spend a lot of money building a town hall? Who thinks so?
Okay.
I'm taking a straw poll. I'm taking a straw poll. Because you guys have put the cart way before the horse here already. You're already spending money on something that people aren't gonna want and don't need.
Joe, how much did you put into this building to fix it already? How much do you think we're gonna get back if we turn around and sell it?
Praise the Lord, the appraisal.
Million and a half, the roof, everything?
We put $100,000 of town money in and a $100,000 grant. The building is worth 1.4 million.
Right. You're acting my point.
Excuse me?
When are you gonna get it back? You think you're gonna sell that and get that money back instead of just adding on to the back parking lot and making more storage, more offices?
Sure.
3 stories high, you got the
We're-
elevator
we're-
already?
We're open to discussing anything. This is early stage. Nobody said we're building anything, buying
But you're
anything.
spending our money looking into it, Joe. That's the problem.
You're on a
spending the
hamster wheel
taxpayers'
here.
money looking into it.
You're on a hamster wheel here. You know the hamster in the cage?
Yeah, I
And
know.
you're trying to get the momentum going here to make this seem like a fait accompli. If you were to read, what's in the parentheses here, it would make it sound like you've already approved building a new town hall,
We have
okay?
not. We have not.
We don't need a new town hall.
But Mark, that's
We
your
budget,
opinion,
we
Mark.
budget, we live in
Mark,
our
that is your-
commitments.
Mark, you haven't even asked the question of where it's getting funded, who it's getting funded by.
We're still gonna have to, might maybe get some
Mark,
money
you
here and
have no
there,
idea what-
but
you-
we can,
you haven't- Mark,
this is
Mark,
gonna
Mark.
cost us a lot of money, and
Hold
you
on,
wanna
Mark.
hire more
Mark,
people and
can I
expand the
ask you a
budget.
question? Because you seem to be so knowledgeable about town law. Do you have any idea what our budget is every year? How much money we collect? And what the taxpayers pay? What's our overall budget?
Our budget's about $7 million, but from reading that
Our
document that you
budget's
call a
$10
budget,
million.
it's very hard to figure
Our
it out.
budget's $10 million. You know what the taxpayers pay of the $10 million?
About half, something like that.
$4 million. The other
Okay.
$6 million come in effective ways to raise money.
Okay, but Joe, where's the money coming from? It's coming from the money that I'm sending to Albany and sending to the federal government already. It's all our money. Just because you got it from another government agency doesn't mean it's free money. Does anyone feel the
You're
same
getting
way?
it, if we don't get our fair share of what is available to expand and grow in the form of grants, who gets it? Where does it go? It's not coming to us.
So we should just go blow it because we get it from Albany and we get it
Well,
from
you're getting it
Washington?
for a specific reason.
That's not the whole of government approach.
All right.
That's a very parochial view.
I think we're early stage.
Okay.
And we're early stage and we
We're
haven't
going to have a
decided
big public debate on this town hall proposal. We're going to have a very, very big public debate.
I got you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
All right, take care. Anybody else like to speak? Mr. Smith?
Bob Smith, Goshen. Joe, I'm wondering, is this the finance, the check for $763,000? It seems to me that amounts like that don't appear down in this section very often.
Correct.
Is there a reason why?
Yeah, we move money during tax season to other entities. I can
Well,
give you a list of what you.
That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, I know when you said you had to pay the fire department, you made a point of saying this check is so big.
I will give you the amount, so.
You have the check registry, Joe, attached to the.
Yeah, I got it here.
All right.
What was that town attorney today? Where's Warren?
What's that?
Where's that town attorney today?
He had a court date tonight. He called me and I said, there's really nothing on the agenda, so I didn't.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say maybe he can fit up or whatever, but.
No, so we
Okay.
had fuel tanks at the DPW, okay? The underground tank leaked. We had to pull that tank out. We had to put new tanks in. Part of that went to wind and water, part of that went to the cost of the cost of doing that work, and a good portion of this money went to the Hamiltonian Park green sand system that we paid this month.
All right.
That's not normal. We don't spend
Well, that's why I
$743,000.
asked. I don't normally see $763,000.
Nope, you're right.
And one other thing, when you said something about the Orange County Board of Elections, did I hear you right and say that any elections in Orange County have to be supervised by the,
Anything that the
Attorney
Orange County
General.
Board of Elections does, is my understanding, anything that they're gonna do, any changes they make, have to be approved by the Attorney General's office. That's my understanding. It was a 2-minute conversation, so I don't have a lot of information.
okay, just curious, thank you.
Good evening, Chris Healy, Town of Goshen. Mark Buckheit is my new spirit animal. I might not share Mark's passion for the subject, but Mr. Supervisor, you did make a comment that you thought maybe not too many people were against a new town hall. It's election time, and some of us are out there knocking on doors, getting petitions signed. I cannot believe how many times I have been asked, why are we building a new town hall? And now I have to explain, look, I'm not actually on the board, okay? I have a concern, but you might be surprised to learn that there's already a lot of pushback out there, and I think a lot of that pushback is because there's really been no explanation. We did have a discussion in here in Town Hall about procuring the property. We didn't talk about why we need the property, how much it's gonna cost, how long is it gonna take, where's the money coming from? There was a lot of questions, and I completely understand and do agree with Mr. Buckheit's comments that we are spending money right now on what very well could be a wild goose chase. More questions, and for lack of a better term, need to sell it to the people a little bit more, even to I, who back a lot of what this board does, not following why it needs to be done. If you're telling me we're out of space and we can't come up with other solutions, we can't rent space somewhere else, yes, we need to store files, everything's on a computer chip today. I can put it in my pocket and carry it around with me. I do think that more explanation needs to be given to the public. As for grants and such that we may or may not get for any projects in the future, these are very, very strange times we're living in. I'm any day ready to turn the TV on and see that we're at war with Canada. It's bizarre. Any monies that were out there for grants are kaput. They're done. A year ago, at the end of 2023, Mr. Supervisor, you spoke about the Biden infrastructure plan and how we were going to use that money to benefit the town. That's gone. There's no more Biden infrastructure plan. So whatever we had planned and what we thought we could count on, I don't think we can count on it anymore. And so to spend any monies towards a project that well may not come to fruition does seem wasteful to me. Again, maybe a little bit more explanation. Not now. I'm saying if, you seem to know why we need it. As a member of the public, I would like to know why we need it.
Fair question.
The Ham Park and Heritage Green Sand issue is a heartbreaker, but I would like to thank this board for taking emergency action for our residents. It's a killer that we've gotten this far, and you guys worked very hard on it, and I really would like to see those residents find relief, but again, you're taking quick action, and I appreciate that. There was talk some time ago about municipal solid waste pickup times, 3:45 a.m. on some residences. There was talk about making a new town law. For the town laws that we've had, some of them I shrugged my shoulders. I don't know why we had to do it. We were removing telephone poles, etc. I understand how to be done. This is one I can sink my teeth into. We need some relief from these municipal solid waste garbage truck pickups that I understand we have more population now, and they did not grow their fleet. So instead of a one trip, they got to do double, which means they got to start earlier and end later. That's a them problem, not a me problem.
Exactly.
You're waking our kids up at 3:45 in the morning, and they got to get up and go to school just a little while later.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. and
We don't need a new law. We have a noise floor on the books. We are waiting for a legal determination. They are saying that they fall under what's called the utility clause, which they don't have to adhere to the noise. I don't believe that a garbage pickup is a utility.
And again, I think, right, it was commercial versus residential. So
Right.
obviously, I live in Hamiltonian Park, so I'm one of those residents that gets woken up at 3:45 that we've been going, the supervisor and I have been having conversations. So whatever we can do, especially for Hamiltonian Park and those that are affected. it seems like it's on a commercial pickup now as opposed to residential. Residential, usually the pickups were 8, 9 o'clock. Commercial, they can pick up any time of the night, so that was also the problem, so.
Okay. If you need somebody to make phone calls, I'm available. Finally,
Call the county and tell them to leave the transfer station up until 5 o'clock, and we won't have a problem.
if they did that, that would,
These guys are getting now, they have to get their runs into the transfer station. The transfer station closes at 3 o'clock.
hang on, aren't you tight with the Steve Newhouse? I mean,
Yeah, listen, I brought it up multiple times.
Give the guy a free
It's
dinner. Let's
it's called
go.
It's called a union issue.
happy to help out if there's something I can do. Finally, there is a dirt road at the end of Magic Circle in Ham Park.
Yep.
That dirt road connects over to Old Chester Road. Seems to be some work going on there, or are we opening up that road?
Nope,
No.
just an
The road's
emergency
not getting
pass.
open.
Is it just, there's some construction work going on in there?
Right, they're flattening the road out, they're gonna put millings on the road, okay, and then we have a gated fence going up front. The only access is gonna be police, fire, and emergency services.
So it's completely in emergency services?
Correct. An automated gate that opens and closes.
Might I suggest an information campaign for the residents of Hamiltonian Park to let them know that? Because I've heard from more than one resident saying what is going on, and there's some nervousness that they're gonna open that as a through road.
Yeah, no, I spoke to multiple people already, and let them know that that was not the case. Although the county, county planning always looks for you to connect roads. This has been something that, and Melissa may be aware of today, that actually part of that property is in a conservation easement.
Yes,
Correct?
it was part of a conservation easement years ago, that when the county was looking to open that road. So I believe it's in perpetuity, we would have to look back, but it was donated to the town as a conservation easement. I don't know why I'm having such a problem saying that. So, I mean, Neil might be,
No, I think you're somewhat right. I think there's also I think the town board put a deed restriction on that
Correct.
property when they took it.
correct.
Not
yes.
just for conservation, but that could not be opened as a road.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not a through road. I mean, I spoke to Jonathan already, I spoke to the gentleman at the end of it. I mean, everybody's getting nervous, but we have to find a way for emergency services to get around this town. And I don't know if you ever saw Saturday afternoon when soccer season starts. You can't make a right-hand turn on Craigville Road off of 207 for 4 lights.
Well, me personally, I would completely welcome an emergency service access to any neighborhood. It's always good when you get emergency service vehicles in quicker. That said you've spoken to many of the residents. I don't think a notice, maybe a notice in the
I
park
can
to
put
say.
something, we have a website
We'll put
for
it on the
Hamiltonian
website.
Park, so we have, a Facebook page rather, that I could put some information on there. Again, I was part of the whole movement, I mean, Neil remembers, back in the day to keep it from being a through road, so I will definitely.
I think it would go a long way
information.
to helping our
100%.
residents. Once again, Mr. Supervisor, the Lakeville property, a bit more information to those of us who are really paying attention, I think would quell some anxieties. It would certainly make me feel more comfortable
Sure,
about the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can't, Sue, sorry, I couldn't see you.
Susan Cleaver, Town of Goshen. Lori's not here.
No.
Rory's not here, no, apologize.
Okay, so did he say what he found out about the Schedule B? It's supposed to be filed with properties after they get approved at the planning board?
I haven't heard.
He did not say anything to us. But did you have it with you? Maybe he did say something to me, I'm just not understanding what you were asking. Apologize.
The Schedule B is supposed to be filed with all approved development on properties that allows for stormwater management to go in and inspect and see if there's a problem. Throughout the life, it actually has to get filed with the property at the county building. With the Altuary landfill, this would, I believe, allow you on the property, and Rory said he had to investigate it, but that's in our code. So that would allow you any time for the life of the property to go in there down to the stream. It's pretty specific. And it really troubles me after seeing that last notice of violation where they said the explosive gas was at 100%. And this is stalled. Because I think that's a danger, I really do, and
I
I think that.
I concur and agree with you, believe
But
me.
then why haven't we put a stop work order in there? Why are you allowing any work to go on in there?
What are they, they're just fixing all they're doing is fixing the, what do you call it?
If there's a spark from a heavy machine, it can blow.
Yeah, I brought this up multiple times to the DEC, that, they made me aware of the fact that that was done in 2022, that they need to get back out there and assess whether that still exists.
No, then, here.
Sean might
Sean,
have the answer.
yeah.
Yeah, Sean.
Okay, Mr. Supervisor, so, Mr. Supervisor, you know, we had a video conference with 12 people from
Yep.
CBC on February 26th. And I specifically asked them in that conversation if we should issue a stop work order, because I know that they do not have the authority under their provisions to issue stop work order. And they specifically said on 2 instances on that call that it was unnecessary. I'm just repeating what was said at that meeting. We've asked them for a written summary of that meeting and written responses to our questions. I have not received those.
I have not received any.
So, but Sue, I agree with you, and I asked the question, and I was told twice that it was unnecessary.
Here's a copy. I don't know if you board members have seen it or not. I think they should all look at it. If I lived next to them and this board did nothing, I would be really, really pissed off, because it looks.
Oh, no, well, this is what created that call. I could not believe that we did not get served the notice, and what they say, it was
They were very apologetic.
yeah, it was a typo error. They didn't have my email address on the notice of violation.
We've gone through the Altry landfill. I know George has been here. You've been here. Garrett, Orange County, citizens who care. There's been a ton of groups that have fought this.
Yeah.
And it just looks, being a resident, like the Altry landfill does whatever it wants and the residents are second class. I'm sorry, it does.
Listen, I'll tell you, I couldn't agree more with that statement, but when I tell you that our hands are tied, that we have no control on what goes on over there, it's strictly a DEC operation.
You
I
have
can't-
the power to have a stop work order. That's the second notice of violation they have had on just gas. But I'll drop it. I'll drop it because we don't agree.
because I'm telling you that when we get the written determination, I will gladly share it with you. We've been waiting for it for, 3 weeks? But they specifically said on that call, there's no need for a stop work order.
The other thing is I had an issue when I was trying to get a hold of the assessor. I've been doing a lot of research online. And I think Mary's great, she does a great job. But there's 2 things. That gentleman that was up here, Mark Buckeye, I think, I don't know you, but, we're a class 1 community. I believe the year before this, we were 14,600, so we're actually shrinking as far as our residents go. But I got this because we're a class 1. I don't know if you guys want to say, I didn't know that we had so many residents in Goshen. Then I had this law that I think you guys should read or give it to your attorney, because I looked up to contact the person that's in charge of taxes, and Mary's name's on there, and I don't know that it should be it.
It has to be a mandatory referendum, it has to be voted on.
Yes, it does. And right now, I don't think your name should be on the bills that we pay or anything.
That was,
I'm sorry.
yeah, no.
I know that,
It came on in the middle of a term when Judy got sick,
I understand that, but.
and the county does.
That means there are 7 other towns that are breaking the law, that have,
No, it was the county prepares our bills in November.
no, but the law that you just gave us, New York Tax Law, Section 37, Powers and Duties, states that anybody holding an office cannot hold another office in the town, but yet 7
Elected.
municipalities, right, 7 municipalities in Orange County have absorbed their tax collector into their town clerk.
I don't know, they might have done it the proper way, that's all, but it hasn't been done yet. Do you understand what I'm saying?
The proper way is an election, yes.
Yeah, it's to have a referendum and
Right.
whole
Yeah,
9
yeah,
yards.
Has to go
Yes,
for referendum.
but right now, it's been,
Well, we have Nag, she was a write-in, she got 12 votes at the.
I understand that, but you're both listed and you're listed
Well, because she wasn't voted in until after the county prepared their bills, so I couldn't.
Well, I'm just trying to make you aware of something. Can
No,
give it
we
to
were
your-
aware, I was aware of that, I
Okay.
promise.
So the one thing that concerns me more is the dangerous situation out by the Altuari landfill and the fact that the DEC has not responded to us. So I think we need our town attorney to call the DEC.
We've been on it. He was on the call also.
He was?
Yeah,
Yes, he
yeah, we
was.
were all on the call.
How long ago was that?
The call was on the 26th of February.
Okay,
It was
so
approximately 45
we should
minutes.
have him at least do a follow-up or prepare some legal documents, because if there's a dangerous situation, and it's right on record now, that we haven't issued a stop order, because you're right, the town has I think
Just so you know,
the authority.
the stop order doesn't fix the problem. They need to fix the problem.
I understand that.
Stop order
but
just
if it-
gets people out of the way in case it blows up.
Yes.
But that ain't helping us.
No.
They need to fix the problem.
I'm worried about it blowing up and the people getting
Oh,
injured,
absolutely,
because
but-
the town will have a tremendous liability. Now that
absolutely.
we're on record, or on notice, as the attorneys would say, we're on notice that there is a problem out there. And if something happens, we're gonna be responsible. So I think we need to talk to our attorney and tell him to get on the stick. And if he has to draw up legal papers against the DEC or whomever, but we gotta get this thing taken care of. That's a dangerous situation.
Absolutely.
And I know you know it is. So, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, to Bill's point, I wonder if there's, I mean, obviously waiting for the DEC. Sean, do you have any, I mean, again, I don't know if you were on the call, do you know why they deemed that we didn't need a stop work order? Was there?
No, I can tell you, I had thought that they would, because I know that they cannot issue a stop work order. I've done that in other communities.
Right.
And I thought in this instance it was appropriate. I asked them once, they said, no, that's unnecessary, and I asked them to confirm and clarify what I was asking. They understood it, and they said, no, not necessary in this
Without
instance.
really giving any sort of reason? Okay, I just didn't know if there's any.
And Building Inspector Leva was on the call as well, and he was ready to issue a stop work order, but when they said no.
Now, do they have
essentially
the
said it
ultimate
would-
authority?
That's what I was
So,
gonna
no,
ask.
we have the ultimate authority to do
Well,
that.
I would,
Right.
you'd have to ask the attorney, but I would
Yeah.
say if you're issuing a building permit for that work, you can if they're in violation of the
Right.
building code. And I don't know why the DEC didn't want us to issue a stop work order.
It almost makes no difference what the DEC wants or doesn't want, because they do not have the authorization, you said, to issue the stop order. I don't think it's us that has to issue it. If they're an advisory board and say, you know, we don't think it's necessary, however, when something happens out
Right.
there,
As
we're
a-
gonna be responsible, not the
Advisory,
DEC.
right.
Do we have,
So-
we have an open building permit on the work that they're doing up there?
I don't know.
So we can find that out.
Yeah, yeah. I think we need to get our attorney on the ball and get this thing taken care of in the legal manner.
I agree,
I'm done with that.
yeah.
Okay.
Why not just issue the stop work order and get their attention? You can always lift it later on if they
Well,
cooperate.
it's not
We
legal,
have
I
to
don't
have
wanna
an
be
open-
responsible either.
We have to have a building
Yeah.
permit to do a stop work order on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure, I think they're really acting on it, I think that Rick discussed it last time, because Rick works for TAM, and I think that what they're really working on is they have a site plan approval from the planning board to do a solar array up there, and consequently, they started work up there. Rick was saying, I think was out there in October last year, putting up the silk fence and all that for the stormwater. So obviously, we expect them out there because we have a clearing grading permit or whatever else, and we have this. So we obviously are involved to some degree, letting them go on the site and do some work. As to whether or not it's still an explosion risk or not, I have no idea. I didn't know anything about this until Sue received it and told me to run into the town hall and give the town hall a warning. So
Yeah.
that's the extent of what I know about the
Right,
explosion risk.
right.
But
Good.
yes, we do have some responsibility, I believe, because that we have allowed work to go onto the site based on our approval from the planning board.
And now we're on notice. The key is notice right here.
If I could, I just want to refresh everyone's memory. There is a solar application, but the
Yes.
solar application was separate from the cap repair. Right, so before the solar gets installed, the cap had to be repaired, and I understand that that was an agreement between the owner of the landfill and the solar company. So I don't know, Neil, yet if the solar company has pulled a building permit or if they are waiting.
Right.
In fact, I know they haven't because they do not have a signed site plan.
But
They just
in
have
all
an
honesty,
extension.
we also have a clearing grading permit that requires work to be approved by us and get on there prior to doing certain criteria. I don't know,
I don't
you
know
know,
if
it's
it's
10,000
that
square feet or cubic
Right.
yards or whatever it is. So I think that we probably had that clearing grading permit, should have been required. Whether we did or not, I don't know the answer. But at some point, we really are, we should be in with our eyes open anyhow.
Yeah, yeah.
There is currently no work going on.
No, I understand that,
There
yes.
is no work going on.
Yeah.
Nobody is on that property except for trucks pumping out the tanks and removing sludge
The,
and leachate.
Right. One
the
person.
DEC has, had asked, and the records that I have, for their, stormwater and their SWIP permits from the town, and they indicated that they had them. So there are permits that are out there from the town. And that was before anything got started there.
Right.
If you want copies of them, I can give them.
That was also part of our discussion with the DEC.
Yes.
as well, Mr. Supervisor.
Yeah.
That was actually the first portion of the conversation.
Yep. All right, well, I'll follow back up again with the Commissioner of Region 3, Kelly Torre tomorrow.
Okay, we got more people coming in. It's a busy town hall
Tom Howard.
I was always taught the right.
Heritage. 6 Boxwood. Just a couple of questions about the water situation and our gate. How old is the tank that has the crack in it?
30 years old.
Oh, okay.
Still in great shape, though.
Should,
It's a glass tank, glass inside tank. It's in,
The line-
I got an assessment today from the company that's doing the work. They said you need about $50,000-$60,000 worth of, caulking and things like that, and this thing will last another 30 years. It's in great shape.
okay.
So no need to replace it
Yeah.
yet.
Because I'm a big fan of completing this green sand project.
Yeah, the green sand is, in Heritage has begun.
Yeah, great. There's a gate between Brookside and Heritage.
Yep.
There's a date when that gets closed again?
We normally close it when there's no sight of any snow coming anymore, so probably relatively soon.
Okay, because I'm getting some questions about getting it closed, yeah. So,
From your residents in Heritage?
yeah.
Everybody I spoke to says, can't wait for it to stay
I know
open all time.
Bob Smith thinks he owns that, but there are other people that don't want the gate open either. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Go ahead.
I just got some bad news. You may have seen me here before talking about the Airbnbs. One is right next to me. We've had multiple problems over the 2 or 3 years they've been here. I just got news that and I may not be absolutely correct on how I'm repeating it, where the state has now said you can't ban Airbnbs.
The state is setting up a registry to control of Airbnbs. That's what I got, the extent of it. They didn't say, per se, you can't ban them.
Oh, we still
But
have,
there's a
may have that
registry,
power.
yeah, right, there's a registry.
Well, that's-
The basis of the registry, from what I understand, is to make sure that the residents of the towns that are allowing short-term rentals are getting their fair share of taxation.
Got it. Okay, thank you. I'd like to, though, go over a couple of things for thought, because I really think if towns are allowed or have to accept Airbnbs, and I know they talk about rules that go along with it and this and that, just a few ideas to think about, because I know this new information has just come down and we have to figure it out some more, depending if you're pro or against it. But I think what we have to look at too in the near future are the rules and penalties that can make themselves known and that they should have to follow if they allow Airbnbs in our city. And I think communication is very, very important with these things. And one reason I mention that is had an issue, you might have heard, I'll try to keep it short, where we tried to get in touch, I did, with the owner, I'll put that in quotes, and the super host of that. And I even worked with Officer Exposito with the police department. Because we both tried to get in touch with him, block the policeman's number and my number. And if you read some of the info on Airbnbs, one of their big things is, you have to listen to the people around it, around the Airbnb, that type of thing. So
I think, if I can just jump in real quick, I think that's part of New York State's registry, to make
Okay.
sure we have all numbers to connect the municipalities to the actual owner.
That's great. And actual owner, I think, talking about communication, I think that has to be looked at carefully, because what happened in the one next to me, the quote owner, when he first moved, he never lives there. When he first started it and bought it, he said, have any problem, call me and I'll take care of it like that. And it seems like that when things have come up, it's been anything but that, just the opposite. And I would hope with registering, the owner gives correct info. In other words, I always thought there was one owner, Mr. Epstein. He told me that too when he first moved in. And I hear from the new host there, she's been there about 6 months, oh no, there are about 7 owners. And they put their money together and this type of thing. So if you got multiple owners, I think we should deal with that and make sure we know who all those owners really are and who aren't. The owner, I hope one thing we can do, if they're allowed to have Airbnbs here, is make sure that, again, the owner, be it 1 or 7, but at least a legal owner, has to be there when the guests are there too, including nighttime. And I think that'll mitigate and stop a lot of the, I don't want to say the word, stuff I've been going through with them in terms of garbage, noise, house value, you name it. Anyway, I think it'd be nice to think maybe the owners could sign papers that say they will obey all the rules and regulations, and if they don't, I think they're going to lose their license. That's just me. And I think that's something to consider. Another thing, and other rules, noise, garbage, the number of people allowed, building codes, they're all against, haven't been following that. I know some people are saying, well, you know, they're trying to make money, people, to help themselves. And as that gentleman said last time, there are people getting together, maybe like the 7 people, or businesses, that it's not one poor family, it's people with money doing this. And my question is, if they don't have to live there and they need money, and they have to be out of the house when their customers are living there, where do they get the money to pay for their motels and restaurants if they're so strapped for cash? It just doesn't sound right to me. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Just a couple more. Somebody said, well, what about home businesses? Well, how do we handle that? Well, I mean, I'm no expert in it, but one idea could be to bring up the whole thing about a barber. If somebody's doing barber work in their basement, okay, that's good, but you know what? We know the difference between going to a barber and having an Airbnb, because if I get my hair cut there, I don't automatically sleep over and use their pool. I mean, it's not a good argument in my opinion. And if they do, if the barber happens to have people sleep over, I guess they would need a license too for the Airbnbs. One last thing, I hope this never happens, I might have said this before, but on vacation, we sat at a table eating with some other folks, and, oh, what do you do, what do you do, what do you do? And one gentleman was a lawyer. I said, oh, do you mind telling me what kind of law? He goes, I work for cities and towns in southern New York State to help fight things like Airbnbs. And I said, well, do you have any recommendations for me? Because I don't know what's going to happen. He goes, move out of town as fast as you can. That's what he told me. So that's just probably hyperbole. Maybe when we get the full story from the state on this, it'll encompass some of these ideas I have, and hopefully they make sense to others. But I really think we have to be strict. If they cut us off and block our phone, I'd rip up their license. I mean, what is that when the police call and you refuse to answer and you're required? In the Airbnb preface, you've got to have open communication. And like Mr. Epstein said, call me and I'll be like that. Yeah. A week later, the garbage is still there. So we know what goes there. Thank you for listening to me. I can't wait to hear what they say. And who in the state government, if anybody can come up with somebody who maybe I could talk to about it.
Well, you can always contact your state assemblyman,
Okay.
Brian Marr, as
State
well as the
Assemblyman.
state senator, James Skoufis.
Right. I called his office a while back and they said, no, we don't handle that, that's just the state. But I could call again now with this new law and talk to them.
It is a local issue, he is right.
Yeah.
But at
then-
some point, the state's gonna have to combat this somewhat, because you can't have every town creating new codes and different codes, and, it's gotta be some type of standardized, with different things protecting the people who live around these things.
Yeah, and I would guess most people that don't like the Airbnbs and may live next to one might agree with some of my points. And I hope there's enough people, if that's what they look at, that do agree with those, and that's expressed to the lawmakers up there. Do you know if the governor signed off on that?
She signed off on the law.
On the law, okay. Try to contact her, see what she says.
May I have your name for the record?
Oh, George, VEIT, 5 Somerville Road. The wonderful house next to me is 7 Somerville.
Thank you.
Do we have an idea how many of these party houses we may have in the town of Goshen at this point?
And I don't know, but I'll tell you, it went down, but again, hopefully they'll limit the amount of people in that house, and they're not supposed to, when you read their prefaces, have parties and celebrations in the house, but they do that all the time. And a lot of times it's kids, 19, 20, big group of kids drinking a lot and doing all kind of stuff that you don't want right next.
Right, but from police reports, from Jim Post reports, do we have an idea, is this pervasive, are there?
So, I mean, to the extent of, there's the one on Somerville Way, and I think there's still one on Lakeview Drive. Those are the only two we know of.
Someone said that there was 16 for some reason.
But there's a lot in the village, because the village has approved
Right.
it. So the village has approved short-term rentals.
Yeah,
I think there was close to 60. Somebody did a search, on Airbnb.
60, okay.
Verbo,
I thought it was
And-
in the Goshen area, village and town.
In Chester,
There's
there's
a lot.
60.
And
60
that's a great question you had, but the bottom
I
line
mentioned that at
is,
the recent
is
board
if,
meeting.
I'd like to know if
That's where I
anybody
got
that
to know.
wants it actually has one next to their home, because, and maybe some people love having an Airbnb next to their home, but there's a fair number of people that don't. And I think we should keep this in mind, and maybe rules like this, if the state doesn't already have them, I think could be good things to try to get going with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, would you?
No, you're good, thank you.
There it is.
Ah,
After you.
Sorry. Dylan Skriloff, Chronicle newspaper. So, what's going on at the Alteri landfill? I didn't quite pick up on it. You said there's a dangerous situation?
Well, they were sanctioned and fined back in 2022 for 100%, what is it, Sue, 100%?
I believe that,
It was 100% of the lower exposure level.
that one that I handed you was from this past December. And this
She's
is,
gonna give
has
it.
been going on for a while. Here's the one from, 22. I believe.
Is that still relevant?
Well, yeah, the other one he's got is more modern.
I have a copy of this, but you feel free to give it to me if you want, it's public information.
yeah. There you go.
I got that too.
Okay.
Get a good article out there, Dylan, that's
Yeah,
what we need.
that's,
I'm serious, I'm not
yeah,
joking, that's what we
there you go.
need.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this will probably end up being the headline.
Well, God bless you if it is.
Okay.
They should wait till DVC out.
Hello, everyone. Lou Adamas. Hi. Goshen. Want to talk about the water district for a second, if we could. Melissa, you had said about a week or two ago that if anybody is against it, to let you guys know? I think
I'm
you made
sorry,
that
what are you
comment.
talking
I think you
about,
made
please?
that comment that if some people were against it, to let you guys know.
Oh,
The commercial water and sewer district.
Commercial, the new one?
Yeah.
Well, I think anybody, if anybody has, you know, an issue or wants to talk about it, that's what the privilege of the floor is for.
So how do you notify these people that this is coming through their back doors, besides the Goshen website? Because for instance, I have 16 people that didn't know anything about it and that are against it. So you're asking for them to come forward, but if they don't know anything about it, how do you expect them to?
Well, it's a public forum.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have
we
to pay
have,
attention
these
to
are meetings.
We
that
have to
that
pay
we don't know.
attention to it,
So-
so
so
if I'm not on
Lou- so Lou-
Facebook,
Lou.
wait.
But we haven't done
If I'm not
anything.
on Facebook or I'm not on social media, which you guys post it most of the time, I have to be married to that every time you guys change something. Instead of writing a letter for everybody going down 17M saying, this is what we plan on doing. What is your idea on this?
So if I could ask,
Sure.
the 16 people that you have, are they residents?
They are owners of the properties and businesses, no residents on this whatsoever.
Okay,
And
I-
5 verbals. And that's only to start with because not everybody was at their location. Now, I understand that you guys already have a few people that are interested in water for going out that way, am I correct?
We have quite a few letters of support on this.
And you're gonna probably have quite a few letters of non-support.
That's what.
So again,
we
the
want.
communication breakdown is, why don't you guys send letters out saying, this is what we plan on doing? What is your opinions on it? What is this? Because truth be
I
told,
guess-
it's not my problem that Millmar needs water. It's not Saucer's problem that Healy needs water. The businesses that are in town now that don't need the water because somebody else's business does, shouldn't affect me. Anybody?
Listen, that's your opinion, yeah.
It's my opinion, it's me as a taxpayer that you're gonna come and take money out of my pocket to support another business. Do you support my business? Do you come in blacktop my area or do anything like that? Does any of the businesses down 17? But you're mandating us to support other businesses because they need the water instead of finding another way.
No,
Amy's
I think for
Kitchen
good
is a
economic-
prime example.
Okay.
Amy's Kitchen is a prime example. Where are they now, Joe? Not coming in.
You
But
know
we
that for a
did-
fact? Did you get a letter from them?
Joe, really?
I don't know, did you?
I think you did.
I don't think I did.
Okay. Not gonna debate it. You got it in so
There is
many
no debate.
words. You got it in so many words. As a matter of fact, I think you wanna use the water off of there to supply
No,
this.
we have negotiated a deal to take the water over as part of the district, yes.
Yes. So what if somebody moves into Amy's Kitchen and needs that water? What do you
They
do?
become a client, of the town of Goshen.
But Amy's needed all their water for that facility.
They did on the original layout, but they didn't when they changed it from a soup kitchen to a burrito.
Right, so if another business goes in there and needs that water, now where are you gonna get the water from to supply me? To supply everybody down 17M that don't want it?
The line that goes to Middletown and the allotment that we got is 1/10 of the size of the line. We could increase the volume from Middletown from 300 gallons a day to 1,000,000 gallons if we needed it, and the city of Middletown had it.
Okay.
We're also putting together our own wells.
But why are you putting it on us that don't need it? Why are you
Why am I
forcing
putting-
us
Who
to
says
have
I'm
it?
putting it on you?
Local businesses down 17M, I was told we have to look into it if you run the line.
We haven't said anything yet. Who told you that? Where's the law that says that?
Mr.
No, well,
Supervisor,
come
please,
on, Joe.
you
Don't
said
bullshit
here,
us.
we've
It
had
is
this
what it is.
discussion, and that was exactly what was asked and said, was that if you're a commercial business, then you will be forced to hook up. And it's on the video. And
Okay.
also, at the end of last year, Mr. Bloomfield did say that Amy's Kitchen was not coming. That was said here, that not that we needed that in writing, but Mr. Adamas is right, that was said they weren't coming.
You what?
I don't understand the resistance to water and sewer unless you don't want growth. If you don't want growth, just say, we don't want any commercial business or industrial business coming into our industrial zone. Then just get up and say that.
I don't want growth like that. But I don't want growth that I have to pay for to help them grow. Again, I don't need the water, all these people don't need water, and there's gonna be a lot more that don't, that you're gonna probably mandate us to do.
Understood.
The mistake would be to mandate existing properties that use very little water, that are adequately served by their individual well and septic, like Sosler's, that has a few toilets and a few sinks. The mistake would be to force those people to increase their operating expenses to subsidize other possible tenants further on down the line. It's kind of a taking. It's just not the way we do business in America, to force existing residents that have been there for a long time to subscribe to a new service and pay a lot of money for it. It's just more of the, let's push all of this through and we're gonna get our way and get other people to pay for it.
Preach, brother.
So if you wanna run it and we wanna hook up to it, it should be our option.
Absolutely.
But if we
Maybe you will
don't
be.
tax me to have them get water, or the pipe that goes down my road.
Understood?
And as far as communication, maybe a letter should be sent out from the town
I mean, in all
stating,
fairness,
hey,
if
this is
if
what we're
every-
thinking to
if
do.
we
This
had-
is something
If we
major.
sent the letter out for every project that we have, you know what our mail bill would be? I mean, then that's your tax
You're
dollars.
spending it on other stuff that we don't need anyway, Joe. Come on.
Come on.
Again, don't bullshit me. Do what it
Exactly.
is. It is what it is. You're spending thousands of dollars on other things that this town may not need. You got no problem with that. But to send
What are we
letters out,
spending
just to
thousands
send
of
a
dollars
letter
on?
out to
What are
people.
we spending thousands of dollars on?
I spent one day going around to these businesses and I got signatures. You mean to tell me if something of that big a nature, you guys, one of yous, can't go around saying, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What's your idea? Can't be done?
Of course it can be.
Then why isn't it?
I have been going around. Well, the residents have been going around. That's why I'm
To the
getting
people
letters
that
of
need it,
support.
what about the ones that don't?
I haven't
And
gone
one
to
of
every,
them
I
is
haven't gone to every business. Yes, you're correct. I'll start doing that effective tomorrow. I'll be out there.
That'd be wonderful. But I'm just saying, maybe a little better
And maybe
communication.
you're
Because not
correct.
all of us watch Facebook.
Maybe you are correct. Maybe maybe the law states that you don't have to connect if you don't want to. It's all a matter of what we have to look at and what the cost is going to be.
And what you choose to word it as.
Excuse me?
And what you choose to word it as.
Yeah.
Correct. It's the law we
Right.
pass. Yes.
Exactly.
I think if you establish a water district, the people in that water
District have to connect. That's what the law is, but I'm not sure that you can't restrict out people that don't want to connect. I don't know.
I don't know about that. I don't think.
But we'll find out for you.
That's my point. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, so much of this, we have talked about the map plan report that was commissioned by a Delaware engineering report.
They'll be here tomorrow.
Ah,
Tomorrow?
They'll be here tomorrow.
Delaware engineering will be.
Delaware engineer will be here tomorrow. Believe me, I'll show you the text message. I said, I can't go through another meeting with getting beat up by Chris Healy.
But-
When is the damn thing coming?
I do believe that we were told that map plan report would have these answers that we have been asking.
Well, it'll have the listing of everybody that's in the district, correct.
So many of the questions that Councilman Lyons asked, they were great questions, but we simply didn't have them because we didn't have the report. Mr. Lyons asked specifically, we're not voting to do this, we're just voting to commission the report, and that report will have the answers that I'm asking. It was said yes, and that settles a lot of what was just said. And then the board can decide what they want to do after listening to the public say yes or no. And then you have to make the decision. But I look forward to seeing the report. Thank you.
Yep.
On the point of, wanting growth or not wanting growth, I think I'm on record as saying that we want reasonable growth that fits in with our history here. 10 years ago, we had this great debate. Amy's Kitchen is coming to town. They're going to make tomato sauce out of organic tomatoes grown up in the Finger Lakes, blah, 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 blah. They're going to start construction there. What they're really going to do to get started is they want to build their church. Okay, so we took a lot of acres off of the tax rolls, gave it tax exempt status. We're stuck with that now. That came off the tax rolls, and we have no Amy's Kitchen. That was very poor planning at that point. That was a complete Trojan horse for a development plan. And that's what we are very weary of going forward here. We're not all Donald Trump master planners here, master real estate investors. It takes a long time to do this kind of stuff, and it's got to be done properly. And this headlong rush that we seem to be going into is Hamiltonian Park, those communities, they never should have been built. They were mistakes 50 years ago that we are still dealing with today because it was very, very poor planning at that point. And now, unfortunately, we're stuck, even if we're only fronting the money for these water districts, and we probably will get it back over time, it's been a huge burden to the town because of very poor planning 50 years ago. That's what we don't want to see happen here again now.
I think we're spending a lot of time
Hamiltonian Park
planning.
is not a burden to the town.
No.
Hamiltonian Park is their own water district. They pay for everything for
Right,
residents.
there's no town.
Just-
Yes, but we
No
had to get
town
involved, and we're having to have this discussion about properties where homes never should have been built with individual well and septic, because we didn't have the water at that time to do it, and it's been an issue for the last, I know it, I've been here for 50 years, it's been here for 50 years, this problem. And it's because of poor engineering at that time. Those homes were all built with individual well and septic.
No.
Hamiltonian Park?
No. No, not at all.
They
Tony
built,
has a water.
They all have a water system and a
What
sewer system.
about the other
No.
community that we're talking about, the other one, Spring Glen? That was all individual well and septic.
that's
No,
village.
Spring Lake.
That's the village.
It's village.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Move on.
It's all
And the-
poor planning.
Yeah.
The village doesn't have any water and sewer. I mean, any septic and well. They're all
No.
connected.
That's what he
And they
said.
don't have enough water, the wells will run dry
No.
in Spring Glen.
He said they're,
No, the
they're
village,
individual
that's
wells.
village, they're village.
In Spring Lake?
No.
Everybody that lives in the village is connected to the village water and the village sewer.
They are now, but when those homes were built initially, they were built with individual well and septic.
Maybe, that was 40 years ago, right?
Then they put water main in, and they were
50 or 60.
mandated
Yeah.
to hook up to the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to go back 40 years and think that I know what went on 40 years ago. I'm sure the code was different. I'm sure
It was lax.
What's that?
It was lax.
Well, whatever the case may be, but, you know, I don't think you can now take a look at the future on what we're trying to do, whether we do it or we don't do it, and then stop that because of the failure of 40 years ago. I think you have to look at the failure of 40 years ago and make sure you don't fail again.
Right,
Right.
but we failed again with Amy's Kitchen because we took a huge piece of property, we acknowledged we were gonna take a huge piece of property off the tax rolls to give it to their church, and nothing ever happened with that. It was a complete Trojan horse, and that was not that long ago. We got duped.
Maybe. I wasn't here, but maybe.
No, we got duped. You're absolutely correct.
Right.
I even asked them to just pay the tax on the land that they were paying, and they wouldn't even do that.
Right.
It's an absolute disgrace.
But it all got approved.
All got it.
They all got
Me.
approved,
Yeah.
and you're still on the board.
I don't think that's a fair assessment, but that's all right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
typical Mark Buckeye.
No, he's right. Because you guys are looking at other buildings going up, and we're gonna have the same problem as we do with Amy's.
Yeah, like what buildings that are going up? and
Any of RDM's going down 17M?
Excuse me?
RDM's going down 17M?
2602 is approved, yep.
Huh?
2602 Route 17M is approved, yep.
Yep.
So-
And what about the ones that are upcoming?
But I just don't understand your point.
People
Yeah.
hated the one that's already been built. It was poor planning.
Which one was
The
already?
one that's already been built on Police Drive, people hate it.
It's in the village, not the
Yeah,
town.
that's the village. Yeah.
And what is with RDM? What do you mean that, I don't understand why you were saying RDM is,
Well, they want to go above the height restriction that they want. We don't know what's going to be going in those buildings, but we're just going to say yes to them to build basically a frame. You go up Scotchtown Avenue,
Well,
they built this
26
monstrosity up there, now it's for lease.
2602 has a leaseholder. Actually, RDM sold it to them. It's a company called Sunlight. They assemble and manufacture lighting for large convention centers and hotels. That's what's being built there.
But you had signatures on Amy's Kitchen, where are they?
I'm sorry, what?
You had signatures on Amy's Kitchen, where are they? So just because the signatures are there and they say they're gonna build it and they got it, it's not there. What if they walk away like Amy's Kitchen does?
Well, they own the property now. The property owner's gonna walk away from a.
Did Amy's? Amy's walked away. They're not building,
Amy's could be walking away for very specific reasons.
but they still did, Joe. It doesn't matter what reason it is, they still did, just like these
But,
new people
but look,
did.
again, my point is, do we stop?
Yes,
We stop. We just stop all growth in all buildings.
on
All.
some businesses, on some businesses,
Do
yes.
you have any idea what you would be paying in taxes if we didn't have economic growth? Down 17A, down 17. You know what your school taxes would be? If they're 10, they'd be 16.
Mhm.
And you're gonna have that, because that's what I'm putting together with the assessor right now. There's a cost associated with keeping taxes lower, and the reason why the school taxes in this town haven't gone up is because of the commercial economic growth we've had. Do you have any idea how much money that Al Mulred pays down on 17A for his buildings down there? Astronomical amount of money, probably over $1 million a year just for school taxes.
Okay.
That helps keep your school taxes lower. Now, until we come up with a better way for the state to fund the school system, and if we don't have economic growth, you're paying that. I know that I can't afford to live in Goshen. If my school taxes were $14,000, $15,000 a year, I'm saying to my wife, we have no kids in school. What are we doing here? Let's move to South Carolina.
I say that every day.
So with that building growth, also,
Excuse me?
what about traffic? What about?
What about it? They've done a traffic study.
And? Tell me
They
this
got-
on
they got-
17, because I have my business there. Tell me it's just a great road to travel down.
Yeah,
Please tell me that. Because I'll debate you on that all night. I'm waiting at my exit for 15, 20 minutes trying to get out on 17 during certain times of the day. Quality buses trying to get out of there 15, 20 minutes. North Jersey Truck and Trailer 15, 20 minutes. And you want to put up how many more warehouses there possibly? So more traffic goes by there? Trucks that can't do the speed limit? And you want to really do
How
this
many-
on that roadway? You
out of
think that's
all
the
of the-
only way we can bring the taxes better in here? By putting up these warehouses? That's the only way.
What's
I'm
another-
not saying stop the warehouses, I'm saying stop certain businesses from coming in that don't belong here.
How can you pick and choose a business, though?
Very easily, look at the problems you have.
Yeah.
Right now, the biggest problem is water. So why are you gonna invite a business that needs water? Choose another business.
Exactly.
That eliminates the
Good
water
planning.
problem. It's
That's
pretty
good
freaking
planning.
simple.
Pretty narrow-minded, you can't really.
No, it's
pick
not
a
narrow
business.
minded.
Very
Because
narrow-minded.
it's not
You
effective.
can't pick a business.
Very,
Yeah,
very
you
narrow.
can. Yeah, you can, because I got news for you. In Goshen, the Dunkin' Donuts, there's a line of cars out in front of the Goshen Plaza Diner. That business doesn't belong there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's waiting for coffee, disturbing traffic. You can choose the business that goes there.
Okay.
There's certain businesses that don't belong in the town of Goshen.
Okay? I don't want to be the one to choose who can and cannot come to the town of Goshen. I don't want to be the person that says, we don't want Dunkin' Donuts, we want Starbucks. We don't want this company, we want this company.
But you don't have that choice to make. It's the taxpayers that do, that don't want those businesses there. So you got 10, 20 people
No,
coming
I
in
think
that
I think you're completely wrong.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
once you create a zone that's called a commercial zone, we don't pick and choose who's allowed to come. You don't pick who chooses allowed to come. As of right, they can build there. Come on, you know that. You sit on the ERB. As of
Absolutely.
right. As of
They can go
right.
there with studies, and when the studies come back, we find a way to weasel around the studies, thus the water.
Whoa,
Oh, wait a minute, you
hold on a
get a building
second.
here, we'll get
Don't
the
even
water.
suggest that you're saying that we take a client and an applicant in this town and we make it difficult for them so that they walk away from it. Because if that's what you're saying, I'm gonna call you a liar.
I'm not saying you're making it difficult for them, I'm saying you're making it too easy for them, and you're bending the rules so they can get in, like the water district.
Lou, right
Yes.
now, the biggest complaint I get from developers coming into Orange County is, I will never come to Goshen because the planning board are a bunch of thieves. That's what they tell me. No, my answer is the planning board is doing their job to protect its residents. If you want to come here and you want to be part of this, you go through the process. Yes, we have the strictest rules in Orange County.
You go through the process?
Go through the process.
And you don't change any of the laws to go through the process. You're trying to push some laws through right now so they don't have to go through this big process.
What laws am I putting through right
Height
now?
of buildings,
Excuse me?
height of buildings,
I haven't put anything through. They've gone through the zoning board and they got that
but you're
approved.
trying to change the law on that.
Trying to increase the height in a commercial district, yes.
Changing the law. So, I'm just saying there are certain businesses that don't belong in the town. Airbnbs are one of them. I'm totally for that gentleman right there, because I don't think you want somebody living right next to you, partying until 2
I
o'clock
live right
in the
around the corner
morning.
from him,
She
so I
just
know.
got done complaining about the
Gotta
garbage
switch
being
it.
picked up at 3:30, but it's fine next door for somebody to party hard until 3:30 in the morning. Because the cops can't do anything about it.
You're just running all over the map.
No,
with what
I'm
you're
not,
talking
Joe. I'm
about.
trying to-
Really, you're running all over the map.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Supervisor, I would just like to clarify one point. 2602 Route 17M is an RDM building. They got an approval, they came in with their hair on fire and said, we got to get this approval quick, we have a buyer. They were approved. After 2 years of extensions, they were told, this is the last extension. The extension expired on December 20th, 2024. At the very last minute, they came in, they were told they needed outside agencies to sign off, water, traffic, etc., and they needed to pull a building permit. At the last minute, they did get the outside agencies. Deputy Dropkin was in charge. He's the one who signed the papers. However, they did not pull a building permit. To my mind, they are de facto expired. And if they would have to start all over again
Sean,
from
do you
scratch.
concur with that?
I have to look back at where it is, but I don't know if they've got a building permit or anything.
But is it a requirement of final approval to get a draw a building permit?
According to the minutes of-
Requirements associated with, sorry.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to let you know, according to the minutes, and I have read them, and look, I'm focused on that, and you're not, and I understand, but it says, get outside authorizations and a building permit. They do not have a building permit, and as far as I'm concerned, that would mean they would start right back from scratch, and that was also the opinion of a few of the planning board members. That said, I understand it's a big town, you've got a lot to do, and you might not know those things, but when you say 2602 is approved, I don't believe that it is, but.
Okay, well, we can look at that. I mean, I'm going under the assumption that it's approved because I've spoken to the people that have purchased it and they're working up there.
They put a
Yeah.
excavator up there 2 weeks ago, but it's
Yeah.
no longer there. They didn't fill out an SWPP,
SWIP.
a SWIP. That said, just wanted to clarify that
Yeah.
that's where they are with that property.
I do understand that Mr. Healy is focused on that application. I can tell you that Building Inspector Leva had a pre-construction meeting with them. I think the second staff meeting date in February, I don't recall what that date was. And I know we have a follow-up meeting with them on building permit procedures this coming week. So I don't know if building permit was issued, but I know that they are actively pursuing building permit and permits.
So can we follow up on what Chris said as far as the
Yeah.
resolution goes? Yeah.
Thank you. One question and a couple comments, but a while back, IWS was in here and they said that they were gonna give us a check for $200,000. I assume we got that now?
Got the check.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And then the other thing is, they have to pay, according to our law, they have to pay tipping fees.
$1 per ton,
Every month on the 10th of the month. We assume we
based
got.
on the DEC permit based on the DEC filings that they have on a monthly basis.
Right.
With how many tons of.
So we've gotten those two.
Excuse me?
We've gotten those also?
Have we gotten what? No, we just got the check. It goes into effect after their application is approved.
Okay, because that's always been in the law.
Yeah, for a nickel.
I guess it is, but at a nickel,
Right.
even at a nickel, that's worth $150 a month, and we should have been collecting that all, at least since the time of the thing.
Clearly, they gave us a hell of a lot more than that when they gave us $200,000.
I
You go back
understand.
15 years at $150 a month.
That's I'm
No,
saying.
no.
From the point of that signing, from the point where it was signed, we should have started collecting that every month anyhow.
Yeah.
on
That's
the
an
regular
inspection fee, that 5 cents
Yes, it
per
was.
ton is so that we can go in and inspect it and make sure.
And cover that cost.
And the other fee, the dollar, is a community host
Right.
fee,
Right.
which they have not paid for 20 years.
Right.
So you're right,
But they
at
didn't
5
have
cents a month.
They didn't have a dollar fee. on
No,
the
because they
community
backed out of it.
fee. Right.
After they
Okay.
verbally agreed to it, we gave them the permit, and then they said, well, we're not going to pay it. I'm still on this, so I don't want to bore anybody. I'm sorry. It just sticks, it's 20 years in my craw. However,
Okay, and the next
so now
comment
we know
really
the real story.
was on the B&Bs. I think that Grace from the building department, I did look into that sometime, and I thought she really came up with a number somewhere between 60 and 100.
Really?
That were identified in the town.
Okay.
Looking at all the various,
You know, we have problems with two.
I agree.
The other 58 must be okay. I don't know.
I don't disagree with you. I think that's really the way it works.
Stoned or what?
Okay?
I mean, I'm shocked the number's 58, that's why.
Yeah, no, I don't deny it, okay? The other thing, on home-based businesses, there is a section of the code that talks about that, and it is restricted to, I forget if there's 1 or 3 non-family members working in the house, and the family member has to, actually, family that lives there has to be there. So there is a law for that.
That's good.
And I think they have to register only with the building department to do that. The other, somebody said something about the population. Population in the town actually, since 2020, has dropped 3%. I can't tell you why, but anyhow, that seems to be the truth. According to the Census Bureau.
Dropped in a village, too.
Yeah. RDM, I thought that RDM was approved as a warehouse and not for manufacturing. It sounds like a change of use, but that's not my call. I don't sit in that position anymore, luckily for me. But anyhow, I think that RDM was approved only as a warehouse and not for manufacturing. And it was a 1-story warehouse. I know at one point in time somebody talked about making it a 2nd story.
No,
and that was
1
not-
story.
Okay.
But I would welcome a manufacturing facility over a warehouse.
And I'm not suggesting anything except the fact that if they're gonna do a conversion like that, they probably do have to go back to the planning board just to see
if there are any adverse impacts that were not considered during the secret, I would think, but that's not my call, like I said. The other thing is, on the question about the Lakeview property, and I just assume that you have looked at what it might cost overall as a total budget. Acquiring the land is one thing, but then you also have to build a building, and I just looked up, and it's gonna cost somewhere between $450 and $844 per square foot for a government administration building. And then you also have the site work, and then you also have the utility connections up there. So I don't know what size you're thinking of building up there, but if it was 10,000 square feet, that would cost somewhere between $5 million and $10 million. And I assume that you're looking at that when you're looking at getting the property. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Plus the tanks on the grounds.
I was just going to cost afterwards. Somebody should have done that.
Anybody else? Anybody else like to speak? No?
Gonna do a fundraiser.
All right, can I have a motion to close the town board meeting?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.